So Leo Barry in the back pocket. Heads along the boundary line. Oh, good mark by Cox. Cox throws it onto the left. One last roll of the dice for the Eagles! Leo Barry, you star! Bob Murray reincarnate. The longest premiership drought in football history is over. For the first time in 72 years, the Swans are champions.
During the cold winter months, football fans flock to the MCG. Footy is all about supporting your team, being as vocal as possible, and at times reminding the umpire to get his eyes checked, should he have forgotten to. However, on this chilly Thursday night, the MCG opens its doors to the public, yet there is no game on. And instead of the deafening noise expected from matches like the AFL Grand Final, there is silence. Right now, 1,200 people are preparing to rough the cold conditions, participating in the second ever Sleep at the G, an initiative to raise funds to fight homelessness.
Sleep at the G is a very, very special event. You've got two iconic organisations, both absolute historic organisations in Melbourne.
Rick Holland is CEO of Melbourne City Mission, an organisation determined to help disadvantaged Victorians build a better future for themselves. Melbourne City Mission is also behind the event that is the Sleep at the G.
Melbourne City Mission, of which I'm the Chief Executive Officer, is the oldest not-for-profit organisation in Melbourne, the second oldest in Australia. MCG was started in 1854, exactly the same year as we were. So we share the same birthday, and for that preceding 160 years, we have shared the lives of ordinary people of Melbourne. And of course, our emphasis is people who are disadvantaged, people who are struggling, people who are bottom of the pile. Our target is 500,000. Last year, the target was 250,000, and we made 300,000. We've doubled our target this year. We've already made 420,000. We're hoping to reach that target tonight, by the end of tonight, or perhaps by the morning.
Sue Parks is the Director of Fundraising and Marketing at Melbourne City Mission, and initially chose this event to be held at the MCG.
It was something that I kept talking about, what is the heart of Melbourne, and for me the heart of Melbourne is the MCG in football, because I'm a passionate St Kilda supporter. There hasn't been a youth refuge or any refuge built in the city of Melbourne for over 20 years, so we're building one on the rooftop of our King Street site. So it's going to cost a lot of money, but this will be the first $500,000 towards it.
Participants at the Sleep at the G have their own individual reasons for being here.
I work for World Expeditions, and we're one of the sponsors of the group, and just thought, I came along to the info night a few weeks ago and just thought it was a really good idea, and we put a team together, and yeah, there's 7 of us from World X, and just a really good opportunity to support homelessness, and thought it was a good idea.
Youth homelessness is obviously a big issue, like here and obviously the UK as well, and if events like this can raise money to raise awareness as well, then awesome. Oh, this is not cold. Like, when it's -5 and you're scraping ice off your car, come back and see me. It's like English cold, trust me.
The school I work for is in a low socio-economic area, so we get families who sleep in cars and they just have nowhere to call home. And we live in a country like Australia, we have so much, and yet there's people on the street. So do a little bit, raise a little bit, you know.
Last time I was here was on Grand Final Day, so it's a bit of a different atmosphere with about 95,000 less people. So yeah, it's pretty cool place to be, and great place to do the sleep out really.
About a week ago there was an ad on TV, and mate and myself, we just thought it was a fantastic idea to get around. Not many people can say that they've slept at the MCG, so we thought, A, it's a really good thing to say that you've done, and B, it's a fantastic cause, especially with winter coming up and it's extremely cold and nobody wants to get out of their comfortable doona, so we thought we'd come down and raise some money.
However, some people think the MCG overshadows the aim of the event, to spend a night on the streets like the homeless.
It's good for the event, but if you were to create an event where we're really trying to, about creating an experience of understanding what the homeless go through, this is not it. But let's be honest, it's not that. So
The Sleep at the G does not just involve sleeping. There is a soup kitchen, fashions on the field, and of course, live music. Lead singer of Hunters and Collectors Mark Seymour performed at the event and has a strong view on the issue of homelessness.
Oh, look, I just think that there's a real crisis for young people in Australia, you know, regardless of their backgrounds, you know, middle class, working class, whatever, you know, they're difficulty finding work, and there's a real change in our basic attitude to welfare. That's, you know, the recent budget they're trying to get through Parliament. It's very disturbing, and I mean, I've got 2 young children, and I am very concerned about what their prospects are when they leave home.
Homelessness is an ongoing issue that many organisations are dedicated to stopping, like Melbourne City Mission. But in terms of solving the issue, it may not be a case of stopping those living on the streets, but rather breaking the cycle for the future.
And what Melbourne City Mission does is enter the lives of those young people. We deliberately work with young people because we believe if you want to fix homelessness, that's where you start. If a bloke is 48, is an alcoholic and is living on the streets and has done for 30 years, well, God bless him, he does need a cup of tea and a sandwich, and he does need somewhere to live, but there's not really a great deal of chance of getting him out of that cycle of homelessness. If you're 23, you can do it. You can actually break the cycle. And that's what we're about. I've never been homeless, but I've worked in the homelessness field for a long, long time, both here and in the UK. And I've seen some absolutely terrible situations. I mean, it's hard to imagine, as we sit here tonight in the comfort of this building, it's hard to imagine that there are young girls out there, 15 and 16, with babies, and I've seen them, and I know them, out there sleeping rough.
The Sleep at the G will continue in May 2015. Liam Sharp for Monash University.